What's going on? It's NTP Backstage Access. I'm your girl Marline Massasoit.
And I'm your boy Presteeje. Today we got with us
Jerry Flynn Dale.
Yo, it's good to have you here today.
Yeah.
Right now we got a piece of Detroit history here with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a lovely day.
Yes, it is.
Come on. Man, your background is extensive. I don't even know where to start. We just gonna jump in, on the fact that you are one of the first Detroit hip hop producers. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I am the first hip hop.
He said he
Detroit
is the first.
producer.
Excuse me, correction.
All right.
Give us the game.
It was a long road to get to that process because you got to understand Detroit was like locked with Motown artists, Motown and gospel, and they did not want no hip hop to be recorded at the studios. Zero.
Wow.
Not no hip hop. They gimmicky rap. They was okay with some gimmicky stuff, but as far as pure MCs, dope MCs, bringing them to the studio, no, that wasn't even on the radar.
Wow.
Even the ones that they wanted me to work with were gimmicky at best, and I just basically got tired of it. So it's like, let's put some real stuff on the floor.
Now let me ask, what was the reason why they was trying to suppress that whole movement?
Well, if you have people who are producing Motown music, what are they gonna produce? They're gonna produce things that sound like what they wanted to hear. Motown. They didn't want hip hop. It was like you stripping the beat down, you scratching. I mean, I've dealt with everybody in town. You name a person in town, I have went to them and asked them to add some hip hop to their stuff. And I happen to live around the block from Fred Hammond. I live down the street from a guy named Harry Barnes who was in Was and I Was. I live a couple doors down from Coco LaBoy and friends. With his relatives were Arnell Carmichael from Radio, Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters. Alex Thomas lived around the block from me. These are people who was in the neighborhood in close proximity, but a lot of times that wasn't their thing. Hip hop was not their gig.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so who was one of the first artists that you recorded that had that sound that you were really looking for?
Well, the first artist that I was allowed to record was the Rapping Rascals.
Okay.
It was some young kids like the Little Rascals, but it was the Rapping Rascals.
Okay.
So I got an opportunity to produce them.
Okay.
And it was a lot of, my house was basically an incubator for hip hop. You had like Bizarre over there all the time.
Yeah.
Stop Through, Swift. It was Mario Winans would come over.
Okay.
George Clinton Jr. would be there like every day in the morning. He would come over and he would show me how to record the funk.
Wow.
And then Arnell Carmichael, who was with Ray Parker Jr., like I said, he would come over and show me how to produce tracks. Amp Fiddler used to come over.
Well, and that's huge. Utilizing your house like that and being that place where people can just be themselves and bring, their realness or their piece to the puzzle. So, so in regard to that, like right now, how do you feel that things have kind of grown from your influence? Because I know you're in the DIA.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's grown tremendously. I'm proud of the situation where I took an adoption check.
Okay.
I was adopted. I was part of the foster care system, and I was adopted by the same family. So my mother allowed me to use the house as a conduit to record hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now my mother's like 92. So back then, neighbors were looking at my mother like she was crazy. Like, you allowing hip hop. Like, you would be at my house, and there may be a lot of MCs in the backyard. Can you imagine what that looked like back in 1985?
It's crazy.
It was very crazy.
Yeah.
Because they were like, they're rappers, and they say, well, you're gonna produce rap music? Yes, I'm gonna produce these rappers. And they're like, well, you're not a producer. But I knew how to produce hip hop because nobody else was doing it.
Wow.
And when you in the studio with like Vicky Winans, and then you working on some hip hop, and then you work in the studio with Rochelle Farrell. These were like real sessions. I'll be in there with Rochelle Farrell, then I'll be in there with Vicky Winans and a young Mario Winans.
Okay.
And then after that came the second project I worked with blending hip hop and gospel was Fred Hammond, because Vicky Winans was the first person ever in hip hop. In the music business, gospel music too, infused hardcore hip hop in her music.
Okay.
Fred Hammond was second. And the third person I worked with was Kurt Franklin. He didn't know how to sample. He was working on this stomp Well, actually, he's working on Knee Deep.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I'm from Detroit. Because they had told him, they said, well, you know, this guy's from Detroit. You know George Clinton. Going in loop it. So I showed him how to loop it and everything. And then I started working with the great Brown Mark. Played bass for Prince in the Revolution. And he taught me a great deal about music production. Because anytime you're working with someone like Prince or working with that type of background, like I programmed a show for one of Prince's artists, and it was very incredible to be sitting there like, you know, I was like, wow, you know, I'm like, am I producing this? Am I programming this song for? I'm going to Paisley Park, and I started looking at myself like, how the hell did I get here? You know what I mean? Because
I woke up like this.
Right, you just thinking about, you know, being a child thrown from a 4-story window, being in foster care to I'm in Paisley Park. How does that transition to get there?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why a lot of the older guys like me, because I always wanted to be an engineer. And when you're dealing with older Motown artists, they really wasn't willing to let the mantle go.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm sleeping on the floor of Roxanne Gordy at her house. You know what I'm saying? So when I wake up in the morning, she's telling me about how to cut records. She's personally grooming me, and I'm riding in the car with her, and we're talking, and she's grooming me. And it's like, a lot of people, they really can't understand the transition of having someone like a Roxanne Gordy take you up under her wing. Because she was in I don't know if anybody's seen the movie 2300 Jackson Street.
I haven't seen
You never seen that movie about the Jacksons?
2300. Did y'all?
Well, that was a song.
Okay.
It was the Jackson. It was the Jackson movie.
Yeah.
She was in the movie where she met Jermaine
Okay.
Jackson when her and Hazel Gordy was in the pool. That was her. That was her depiction in the movie.
Wow.
And in the Temptation movie, there was a woman called her name, Johnny Mae Matthews. She
Okay.
was in the movie. She was the one who told the Temptations to get out of her Cadillac.
Okay.
That was a family friend, and she also took me in up under her wing to show me music. Because it was like all these people who they didn't like rap, but they wanted to like put a little spin on it. They wanted to tell me some twists and turns about the music, and I just took it all in and sorted around like a pot of gumbo.
Okay.
It was like teachers, music. Like Tony Womack was a great jazz musician, so they just took me on their wing, and it was like. And then what I have done is I have turned the tide, and I let everybody else record.
So now you already going there with some of your mentors. Who are some of your mentors that trained you up in this business?
Mike Grace and John Lewis from Sound Suite Studio.
Okay.
Mike Grace has recorded over 350 gold and platinum records.
Wow. Okay.
So I was up under his personal tutelage
Okay.
from a teenager. A lot of people was in the studio asking Mike, well, why do you have this 15-year-old kid with you? You know, he was like, well, just give him time, he'll come around. And, you know, it was like being in the studio with Rochelle Farrell, and it was like R.J. Rice, and I'm in, you know, David Peaston is in the studio, so I'm walking in, and I'm sitting there with the owner, and David Peaston is handing him a check for $300,000, and I'm sitting there like, wow, when do I get my turn? You know, it's just like, they just gave me so much freedom because nobody else was producing hip hop, and if they was, they really didn't know what they were doing.
Wow.
So let me ask, in Detroit, what do you think it was that? Well, what do you think was the defining moment that kicked the door open for hip hop to be what it was and what it has become?
Well, it was a series of things that kicked the door in. For my personal involvement, it's just me personally. You know, watching Proof doing what he was doing, having Bazaar at my house every day. It was like that, the transition, because you got to understand, you know, like in the Metro Times article, it says the Jerry Flynn Dale era. And then you see Super MC in the next era where it says the hip hop shop era. That was the next era. Ironically, the hip hop shop was on my block. You could just walk straight up down the street, and on 7 miles on my block, because we, ironically, Future Funk Records was right next door to the hip hop shop. So as Future Funk Records was making this transition down, the hip hop shop and Maurice Malone, they were making a transition up. And I still was there because as being an engineer, my job is to be non-biased. My job is to let anyone who wants to record, record their material. Not to make any personal decisions or judgments about the next person's music.
That's beautiful.
That's the reason why I'm very accepted. I accept everyone's genre of music, no matter what. I don't care if it's country, if it's techno, if it's hip hop, if it's rap.
He was recording it.
Right. Whether I liked it or I didn't, because you gotta understand, people like George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic, they didn't have the they didn't have to accept me and listen to my music and accept me as in that clique. They didn't have to do that. But because they did that for me, and all these people had gold and platinum records, I decided I was going to open the door for someone else. And on top of that, when you come from the foster care system, and the chance that my mother given me, that she gave me, from coming from a biological mother who was a prostitute and a dope fiend, and father was a pimp, why would I not give someone else the next opportunity?
And that's amazing. And I want to jump, into different opportunities. You have your own foundation. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. My foundation is the McKinney Foundation, and the McKinney Foundation is based upon 3 pillars: health, entrepreneurship, and the environment.
Come on.
And what we do is, Dr. Tia McKinney and I, we help out a lot of people. We talk about health disparities in the food desert that's out here. You know what I mean? And we put on a healthy seminar. This coming August will be our 8th annual celebrating a healthier Detroit. Because without a healthy mind, you can't. A healthy body and a mind, it goes together. Now the next component is, the transition phase of that part, jump off, is being on 910 with Pastor Mo. Pastor Mo's giving me an opportunity and a platform to be able to talk about what's going on in the community. So as people give me an opportunity, I have reciprocated and gave everyone else that opportunity. It's like I was telling you about the incubator I'm doing Flynn. It's like Flynn is kind of reeling right now. It's a lot of brilliant musicians and people in Flint, great people in Flint. It's like it's great people. I'm involved with an organization that they do a lot of stuff in Pontiac. So I'm taking these platforms that people are giving me and turning around and saying, here's your opportunity. That's the only way you're going to be able to expand your brand and what you're saying. You have to just be able to say, hey, you know what? Here, I'm gonna show you this instead of me talking you down. I'm behind the scenes on a lot of different things that go on. I don't really tell anybody because once I stopped. At one point, I stopped recording. I just dipped behind the scenes and saying, let me help and let me show you and help you grow your brand.
That's a beautiful thing.
And that's what we need.
Let's shout out your mother, and because we didn't get her full name.
My mother's name is Celia Pearl Dale.
Okay,
The greatest mother in hip hop.
That's amazing. Okay, so now is there anything else we need to know? Because this is an interview series, so we're going to have you back again because I know you got a lot of history. So we're going to make sure we get that on the series. Is it like one more thing we need to know?
Well, I hope that the arts community, because we all do art. Life imitates art. So if the artists take over and take care of their business, the artists, and pass the baton to the next person. I've talked about passing the baton so much, but they keep throwing it back in my hand, but I keep giving it back to someone else. It's someone else's turn. You know what I'm saying? It's up for, given my age, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have people like, there's a lot of great rappers in Detroit. And I can reassure you, whether he was here or not, and Super MC would tell you, I believe he's one of the greatest artists we have in Detroit. I'm gonna tell you 2 artists that would be scary if they made a record. It's Super and B Def. I think that would be just cataclysmic. You know what I'm saying? In my mind,
you saying it, you put it out there.
I'm recording them. I have recorded them in my mind. I've listened to their voice and said, okay, if I put them on this beat, that beat and such.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's in my mind. This is what I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting
Let's get it done.
that those 2 can take that baton and they can run real far. And not only that, one more thing I like to add. Mario Winans is trying to reach back to the city of Detroit. help out a lot of people in the city of Detroit. I'm talking about from personal conversations. I'm not talking
Okay.
about from, nobody know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a lot, and he invited me to come to the fore.
Come on.
Hey,
This year.
okay, yeah.
Well,
When next semester? I mean, not next semester, because I'm in
Yeah.
school.
Okay.
Next season.
Yeah.
But before
okay.
we jump out of here, let's tell them, go to the DIA,
Yeah.
because you are a part of the exhibit there.
Well, actually, the exhibit has just ended a few weeks ago.
Oh, man.
What was it called? What was it called?
Decipher.
Yeah,
It's
Decipher.
called Decipher.
Mhm.
You see Super MC in the video.
Mm-hmm.
Over 255,000 views the last time I had checked.
Wow.
And that was like the second
Wow.
week. There was a lot of exposure. Okay?
Wow.
255,000 views in 2 weeks. Isn't that how many views it was in 2 weeks, Super?
What?
For the Decipher, for the video you did.
It's like 100 and 100.
157,000.
I know when I saw it was 250,000. It was big.
Up there. That's huge.
And
That's
then
huge.
You part of a piece with the Metro Times as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we gotta encourage everybody, to
Take
go
a look
look
at
at
that.
that.
Yeah.
That's the, hip hop history of Detroit.
Mhm.
That gets slept on, because of Motown. But I think the hip hop history is just important because now in America,